Hello, my Saturday will start. We're going to stay in the United States, but this is applicable for the Western world. We'll start with a Pew Research poll type thing. A third of Americans now say they are in the lower classes. Of course, the slightly exaggerated headline, but down at the bottom right there, share of public that self-identifies as lower class. 2012-2008, United States of America. And read the article for the different age groups and different Hispanic and black and all those type of people that they asked how they thought about it. But this is all adults, and it's quite shocking, really. 2008, 25% of all adults thought they were in lower class. But now, 4 years later, 2012, it's 32%. So it's gone from a quarter to a third. That's one hell of a jump in 4 years. Share of the public that self-identifies as lower class. 4 years, and it's jumped from a quarter to a third in America. Anyway, let's pop on. What we've got here in snip 2 is college tuition fees in green going up from 1980 at a much higher clip than all goods. So all goods is something like the CPI index, something like that. College tuition fees are going up and up and up like medical fees. But the point here that I'm making in this video is that Americans that pay those elevated college and tuition fees and go on and get more and more education do not stay in the lower classes. They go on and live to a greater extent the American dream, whatever their American dream might be. If you want the American dream, if you want to get on, if you want to be the other, the doing well other, you have to pay that green line. Yeah? Okay. Now, there are lots of people that, for various reasons, don't pay that green line. This is from Ezra Klein again, Wonk blog, and he's not against this. This isn't a hatchet attack on people that haven't taken the green line, but it's the problem that the United States has got, and of course the Western world has got. Through just the end of August of this year, according to the MTS, the federal government has paid out $594 billion in benefits from the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund. This means the government has paid $3 billion more in Social Security benefits in just the first 11 months of this fiscal year than it paid in all of fiscal 2011. So it's about paying 10% more about this year for people in that particular group. And there's another group here. Through the end of August, the federal government has paid $130 billion in benefits from the Federal Disability Insurance Trust Fund. Through all of fiscal 2011, the government paid only $128,000, so it's exactly the same. They've gone through the same amount of money as last year in 11 months of this year, so it's about 10% more, give or take. And this is, a lot of people are going over to disability benefits in the United States because it's not a bad deal if you can live on a minimal amount of money, but it's a regular minimum amount of money. And you get certain, depending how long you'd worked, whether you get Medicare or Medicaid, it's not a bad deal if you can, if you're willing to accept the fact that the American dream has gone away from you and all you're going to do is survive out. And that is what we've got. This is the inequality that Stiglitz's new book's about. A complete wedge has been driven. It's not just American society, it's especially in the UK society as well. Europe is trying to fight against it, but there's no doubt it's driven into Europe as well. It's this inequality thing. If you get a good start in life, if you have it's the money basically. If you can get to live in a decent area, get to a decent school, and afford to pay for more education, the chances are you can stay ahead of this game. But the people that are on the other side of the wedge, that fall on the wrong side, are basically being lumped in with the Chinese. And the governments are paying to keep them supported so they don't clutter the streets up for the moment. But that's the bifurcation that we have in the Western world. The people that have advantages to start with are staying ahead and don't have to compete with the Chinese. But there's an awful lot and increasing amount that do have to now compete with the Chinese. And it's becoming clearer and clearer. And the only way to stay ahead is to have an advantage to start with. Anyway, I'll leave that with you. Weekend. Bye.